economic development team really has a two-prong approach. The first is really working with existing businesses to retain them in the City of Whitehall, working with them to ensure that they have the resources they need to thrive and flourish in Whitehall. At the same time, we work tirelessly to attract new businesses to Whitehall and to unlock other development opportunities in the city to repurpose underutilized pieces of property and to transform them. So 2020 was a tough year. We obviously, when the pandemic really took effect in March, we certainly reached out to all the businesses we could to find out what kind of resources they needed, what kind of support they needed, what challenges they were having, and worked with each one of them to ensure that we could link them to resources, whether they were at a state level, a local level, or at the federal level. A third of the respondents in our recently completed Community Attitude Survey told us that ensuring affordability and increasing affordable housing was their top development priority. As the development director, I am charged then to ensure that as we continue to redevelop areas of Whitehall, we do so in a way that leaves no one behind and includes everyone. We adopted a policy that 20% of all the housing that will be created in Whitehall over the coming decade will be affordable or workforce housing. In 2020, the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, MORPC, released its regional housing study, which highlighted, amongst other things, that Central Ohio is not meeting the need for affordable housing and that we're seeing as the population in the region continues to grow. The city fully intends to meet this challenge head-on and continues to be receptive to promoting inclusionary housing policies and welcoming affordable housing developments to Whitehall. At the end of the day, we recognize that this supports a more diverse, equitable, welcoming, and vibrant community. During our decade of development and opportunity, there really has been a tremendous amount of change. And at the end of 2020, it afforded us an opportunity to take a step back and really appreciate that development. When you look at Wasserstrom, the new Columbus Metropolitan Whitehall Branch Library, the Ashford on Broad, Norton Crossing, the under construction Broadwood Apartments, and the Starbucks, Broad Street is almost unrecognizable. In addition, that decade of development and those changes are not limited to just Broad Street, whether it's Priority Designs on Hamilton Road, Creative Palette on Yearling, Heartland Bank and Hamilton Crossing on Hamilton, they continued that momentum into those corridors as well. We are at about $120 million per square mile of public-private development over the last decade. We've added 2,700 net new jobs. We have been active in a way that our residents, our community, and our stakeholders have ultimately benefited from. These 50 acres represent a once-in-a-generation opportunity for the city. Not only did we attract and are we partnering with the right developer at the right time, but we also have found a partner that is taking some really key components and key areas of focus for the city and integrating them in a meaningful way into the development, whether that's affordable housing or transit or green space or public art. All of these things that our leaders and our community members and our residents have said are really important for the next generation, we're integrating into this development. It's not every day in Whitehall that you can redevelop 50 acres adjacent to an 80-acre nature park that's got access to Big Walnut Creek and acres of wildflowers and trails and paths galore. The idea that we can build a development around density and integrated transit and create a fourth place, a place where people want to go when they're not at home and they're not at work, the idea that you can create this live, work, play on 130 acres, it's transformational. It's a once-in-a-generation kind of possibility. The impact of having this kind of development at Broad and Hamilton and the scale of it are going to have positive ripple effects in development for decades to come.